Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be talking about the Chelsea's 1-0 win over Bournemouth. This was a really interesting game. It was definitely a game of two very different halves, but before I get into talking about the match, I'm going to first go over the lineup. In goal, we had Robert Sanchez, who there's been a lot of criticism on, and rightly so, but I think he deserved man of the match, but we'll talk about him later. On the fullbacks, we had Disasi and Cucurella. Cucurella, I think since last season he's been doing pretty good recently. I don't really have any criticisms for him. Disasi I'm going to talk later about in the video, and I think he was very poor. And in center backs we had Colwill and Fofana. I thought Colwill was very good. Fofana I didn't think was very great, but I'll talk about him more later in the video. We had Vega and Caicedo as the two midfielders. Vega, he's shown that he can play DM before, and I think he did a pretty decent job for his first Premier League game. On the wings, we had Madueke and Neto, with Palmer in the middle and Jackson up top. To talk about the first half, it was very, very poor. There was a big lack of chance creation. The passing was very poor. We couldn't string too many passes together, at least progressive passes, and that were creating attacking chances. Our wingers couldn't get into the right positions. I thought Neto was very quiet. I didn't think he had a very good game, as well as Madueke. Madueke, I think for the past two games has not had great games. He had that 10 out of 10 performance against Wolves, and then now he's kind of had two 5 to 6 out of 10 performances, and he has to be consistent. Palmer was being double marked and just fouled at every chance they got, and he was completely kept out of that first half. The midfield was being overrun. I mean, Bournemouth was winning balls in the midfield left and right. It was very poor, leading to multiple counterattacks. Disasi was very, very poor, and I think this has to be his last game in a Chelsea shirt. I think he was losing balls. He was not reading the game correctly. There was a moment where a ball's kind of loose on the right side, and he can't really decide if he should go for it or if Fofana should come in and get for it, and then it leads to Bournemouth just being able to snatch that up and go on a counterattack, and it creates a chance from it. And it's unfortunate to see, because I do like Disasi. I think he has a lot of passion for Chelsea, but it's just poor performance after poor performance from him, in my opinion. He had a great game against Man City last season, but ever since then, he just hasn't really been able to follow it up, and it's really unfortunate, but I don't think he's good enough to play Premier League football right now. Like I said, Madueke is very inconsistent. I'll talk more about this later, but I don't think he should be starting next game against West Ham. Sanchez saved us in the first half, and I give massive credit to him. I've criticized him a lot before with his on-the-ball ability, and even some saves, I think there are a lot of times where he could be doing better. For instance, that Kovacic goal in the first game of the season against Man City, I think he should be saving that. I get it's a great shot from Kovacic, but I mean, full stretch, I feel like he should be getting to that. But he was incredible. He saved, I think, 8 shots, and obviously that penalty. It's unfortunate that he concedes it, but it's a poor pass from Fofana, who I didn't think was that great in this game. That leads to the chance for Evan Nilsson. And then he chips Sanchez, and there's nothing he can really do. They kind of just collide. Fair penalty. And he saves the pen that he conceded. So, fantastic performance from him. He completely saved us in that first half. And then the second half was entirely different. Enzo Maresca makes a halftime substitution of Pedro Neto for Jadon Sancho. I didn't think Neto had a great game, and Jadon Sancho was incredible. From the minute he came on, anytime he got on the ball, he was looking to progress forward, he was making attacking runs, he was taking on his defender, he was linking up really well with Cucurella. Cucurella was making very high up inverted runs and creating passing options for Sancho, and I thought that worked very well. I do think Sancho definitely deserved man of the match. I think Sanchez should have gotten it, but I don't think there's any argument that Sancho didn't deserve it. He was incredible, and obviously he gets the game-winning assist. Sancho is a player we didn't know we needed, but we needed him. He played absolutely incredibly, and if that's how he plays consistently throughout the season, he is undoubtedly a starter, and he'll score a goal sooner or later. I thought he was absolutely incredible, and I can't wait to watch him again. Joao Felix came on around the 60th minute. I thought he was kept a little quiet, but I still thought he was more progressive than Madueke. I think his on-the-ball ability is better than Madueke's. He's very good at getting out of tight situations and getting passes off, which is very important. He moved into kind of the 10 position, and Palmer moved out onto the right wing. And I thought that unlocked Palmer to be a bit more free, as well as Felix more free in the midfield. And obviously Sancho ended up having to be double marked, creating more space for Felix in the midfield. And then Nkunku comes on around the 75th minute, and he scores the game-winning goal. Christopher Nkunku, I think, needs to be starting over Jackson in that 9 position. I thought Jackson had a very, very poor first half. He missed chances, and he wasn't really linking up very well. And for all we talk about Jackson, for all of his link-up play and all the on-the-ball ability, he wasn't really getting that off. I thought his passing especially was poor, and then obviously just missing chances. But Nkunku came on, was linking up extremely well, creating passing options in the final third. That pass, Sancho gets off. The goal Nkunku scores, I don't think Jackson scores it. I think he either looks for a pass or honestly falls over. Like, the strength Nkunku used to just bully the defenders off the ball and create the space to get the shot off was incredible. I thought it was very similar to his goal against Liverpool last season when we lost 4-1. It was just a consolation goal, but it's very similar how he turns and uses his strength to push defenders off him and get that shot off far post. And Nkunku is an incredible player. And I've said from the start of the season I want him starting game in, game out as the 9 over Jackson. I think he's more clinical in the box than Jackson. Like I said, I don't think Jackson scores the goal that Nkunku did. And Sancho had one pass to Jackson earlier before Nkunku came on, and Jackson was in a good amount of space and just missed the shot. He shot it wide, high and wide. Jackson has very good positional awareness. I will give him that, and he makes good runs, but he just doesn't finish chances the way Nkunku does. Nkunku very rarely misses a chance when he's given one. Every time he comes on, he scores for Chelsea. When he starts, he scores. When he was coming on last season off the bench, he was scoring. I can't remember against Brighton if he came on at halftime or started. I think he came on, and then he scores effectively the game-winning goal against Brighton. Same thing against Liverpool. He comes on when we're 3-0 down, and he scores us a good goal. I do think he should be starting over Jackson. I'm going to talk about our defense and Tosin, who had a very good debut in my opinion, but there's something wrong about the defense. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the partnership. I thought Colwill had a very good game. He made some incredible tackles, especially towards the end, but Fofana was very good on the ball and pressing forward, but his back passing and defensive actions I just thought weren't great. I still think Fofana is a very good player, but he just wasn't good today. I don't know what it was. I don't know what the issue is with our defense. Obviously, Disasi was terrible. He was absolutely horrible. He was losing balls. There was one point where he just got it straight past to him, and he completely missed it, and it goes out for a throw-in for Bournemouth. He was absolutely horrible. Cucurella, I thought he was solid. I thought he was making good progressive runs and had solid defensive actions. But there's just an issue with our center backs. And when Tosin comes in, I think it looked a lot more solid and secure. I thought he had a really good debut. I thought he looked really strong in the defense, and I thought he was really comfortable on the ball. And if we need to against West Ham, I would start him at right back. But I don't know how fit Gusto and James are going to be. But I'll talk about that in my match preview for West Ham. Overall, I think there's definitely bright spots of this team, especially in that second half. I have to give Enzo Maresca credit. He made good substitutions that completely changed the game. And I'll go over this more in my match preview for West Ham, but I think Nkunku over Jackson has to happen. You could even maybe start Jackson and move Palmer to right wing and put Nkunku in the 10, but Nkunku has to be starting. I think Sancho should be playing over Neto. I thought Neto was kept pretty quiet. He never really had an effect on the game, and then Sancho comes in and boom, he's man of the match, and rightly so. He was incredible. Absolutely incredible. I don't even really need to go into that. We all know how good he was. And this might be a hot take, which I'll go more into in my match preview, I think Joao should start in the 10 and drop Madueke and move Palmer out to the right wing. I just don't think Madueke has been consistent enough to be starting. I thought he was kept completely quiet and didn't really do anything against Bournemouth and even against Crystal Palace. Against Crystal Palace, he had some chances that he missed, but I still think he was kept quiet. We've gotten 7 points in our first 4 games, which is much better than last season when in our first 4 games we only had 4 points, and we took a pretty bad loss to Nottingham Forest too. We drew to Liverpool, really bad loss to Nottingham Forest and West Ham, and then beat Luton 3-0. But I think we're starting this season much better, and if we had won against Crystal Palace, which I do think we should have, we most likely would have been top 4 right now, maybe in the 5th spot, but we would have been in the Champions League places, which I think gives us a good outlook that if we can sort our defense out and get more comfortable on the ball, we're going to be a good side. And I do think we should need to sort out who is starting, because I don't think anybody really knows what our strongest 11 is yet. But once we sort that out, once we get more calm on the ball and sort out our defense, I do think we can definitely charge for top 4 and probably get it. I think top 3 are going to be Arsenal, City, and Liverpool. And then that 4th spot is completely open. You know, Tottenham, Newcastle, Man United, Chelsea. I think any of them can get it, and I do think Chelsea can get it. But I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm going to start trying to upload very consistently and doing match previews and reviews all season. I stopped last season and just never really got back into it, but I'm going to try and really upload a lot more. So if you enjoyed this video, please subscribe and stay tuned for my match preview against West Ham. I will try to drop that probably around Thursday, if not Friday. So thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time.